When you think about what separates a good leader from a truly great one, it's rarely just about strategy or charisma, is it? Well, today, we're going to dive into something that goes way deeper, spiritual intelligence, or SQ. And trust me, it's probably not what you're thinking, but it might just be the most important skill for any leader today.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to define what SQ actually is by busting a few common myths. Then we'll look at two ways to build it up: the direct conscious path and the more instinctual subconscious path. We'll see how those two work together, and then we'll wrap it all up with some simple, practical stuff you can start doing like today.
Okay, first up, let's get right to it. What are we even talking about when we say spiritual intelligence? And, maybe more importantly, what is it not? Before we can really dig in, we've got to clear the air and get to the real heart of this big idea.
So let's just rip the Band-Aid off, right? The moment you hear the word spiritual, you probably get an image in your head of someone meditating on a remote mountaintop. But is that really relevant to leadership? The answer, to be really clear, is absolutely not.
Here's what we're actually talking about. Spiritual intelligence is a totally secular concept. It has nothing to do with religion. It's all about your ability to connect with your deeper purpose, your core values, the real why behind everything you do, and then using that to guide your actions and inspire the people around you. It's that connection that builds serious trust and helps you navigate the tough stuff.
Let's break this down a bit more. The number one myth is that SQ is about religion. Nope. As we just said, it's about purpose and values, stuff that's universal to all of us. Another big mix-up is with emotional intelligence, or EQ. Now, EQ is super important. It helps you manage your emotions. But SQ, it goes a level deeper. EQ is about how you feel. SQ is about why you're doing what you're doing in the first place. It connects your work to a much bigger picture.
And the myths don't stop there. A lot of people write SQ off as some vague, soft skill you can't possibly measure. But the reality is, SQ shows up in really concrete ways, like in how a leader makes ethical calls under pressure, or how resilient they are when things go wrong. You can absolutely see its impact on business outcomes. And maybe the most important myth to bust is this idea that you're either born with it or you're not. That's just not true. SQ is a skill, and like any skill, it can be learned, it can be practiced, and it can be strengthened.
And that last point is so crucial because it leads us right into our next section. If SQ is a skill you can actually develop, well, how do you do it? Let's start with the first method, what we're calling the conscious path. This is all about direct, intentional action.
The best way to think about this path is like going to the gym for your SQ. You're setting aside specific time to do very focused workouts that are designed to build up your spiritual intelligence muscles. It's deliberate, it's structured, and it really requires your full attention.
So what do these workouts actually look like? Well, here are a few great examples. You've got mindful reflection, things like journaling or just quiet meditation to really understand your own motivations. There's active listening, where you make a real conscious effort to just listen to someone without planning what you're going to say next. Or how about a values alignment check? Just consciously asking yourself, hey, do my actions today line up with what I say I believe? And even something as simple as practicing gratitude can completely shift your focus.
Okay, so a gym workout is awesome, but we all know that's not the whole story when it comes to being healthy, right? That brings us to the other side of the coin, the subconscious path. This isn't about those scheduled efforts. This is all about reshaping your instincts over time.
So if the conscious path is like going to the gym, then the subconscious path is like building a healthy lifestyle. See the difference? These aren't intense one-off sessions. They're small, consistent habits that you just weave into the fabric of your daily life. And over time, they start to change your automatic responses, your gut reactions, your instincts. And here's what some of those habits might look like. Adopting a service mindset where you just regularly look for ways to help people slowly shifts your focus from me to we. There's triple brain decision-making. That's learning to listen to your gut and your heart, not just your logical head. Just making time for stillness or getting out into nature can create the space for amazing insights to pop up. And systemic empathy is the practice of trying to see the whole interconnected web of a situation, not just your little piece of it. So, we have the focused gym workout on one hand and the consistent, healthy lifestyle on the other. But they're not really separate things, are they? They're two parts of the same whole. So how do they actually work together? Well, that's what we're going to look at now, how these two paths meet to turn your awareness into real, instinctual action. And here's the key takeaway. It's two different paths, but they are working towards the exact same goal. The whole point is to take those aha moments you get from conscious practice and embed them so deeply that they become your new normal, your new instinct.
And here's a perfect example of how that feedback loop works. So, step 1, you do a conscious practice, like journaling, and you have a realization. Wow, I was really just focused on my own agenda in that meeting. That's awareness. Step 2, a subconscious practice, like constantly trying to have a service mindset, starts to automatically correct that behavior in the future. It reprograms you. And the result? Your intuition gets sharper, you become more resilient, and you just start making better, more aligned decisions, without even having to think about it.
Okay, this all sounds really great, but the big question is always, how do I actually get started? So in our final section, let's get super practical and look at some simple things you can start doing right away.
And here's the fantastic news. You don't need to go on some silent retreat for a month. Just look at this list. You could start journaling for just 10 minutes a day. Or take a walk outside and just leave your phone behind. Try a simple compassion meditation where you just spend a few minutes wishing people well. Schedule an hour-long digital detox. Or in your very next conversation, make a real point to listen just to understand, not to come up with a reply. These are so simple, they're completely secular, and they are incredibly powerful.
Because ultimately, developing this kind of intelligence really just comes down to asking yourself bigger, better questions. Questions just like this one. What contribution do I really want to make to the world? That question alone shifts your focus from the day-to-day grind to your real purpose.
And that brings us to our final thought. This whole journey of developing your SQ is deeply personal. It starts with you. So I'm going to leave you with this question to really think about. What would be missing from the world if you were not in it? Your answer to that? Well, that's the foundation of everything we've talked about today.